to everyone. I'm very excited to have the opportunity to speak to you today about how we utilize social media to support the text advocacy campaign, the Get the Message campaign that Linda Williams would have spoken about earlier. When we began this campaign, we had many challenges. Linda would have mentioned some before, but I need to go over some of them. The fact the campaign was being done in 17 Caribbean countries was a tremendous challenge. Unique cultures, different languages, having limited funding was a challenge for us, but I really felt as if because of that, it really forced us to be creative and to try to find unique ways to get the message out there to the community. When we had agreement from the mobile phone providers, they had said yes to the campaign, but we did not have the short codes. The short codes were not activated, we didn't know what they would be, and we had yet to identify volunteers within the countries. And so we said, well, what do? We have a campaign that's ready to go. And so we said, the solution is we must utilize social media. Social media is a quick way to get out to all of the different countries and a very youthful way to spread the message. The complexity of the campaign is one where we have to educate people about NCDs. We have to explain to them it's an advocacy campaign. We have to explain to them why is the United Nations Summit important. And then we have to explain to them why their text is important, how it counts. And so there are a lot of different things that we had to cover. And because of that, the campaign was very fluid, and we had to adapt on the fly to many different situations as they occurred. And so, as this gentleman here ponders which social media space to utilize, so too did we have to decide what was the most effective channel to deliver our message in support of the Get the Message campaign. And what we decided was we needed to start with home first. And we focused on our website, and we made significant changes to our website to begin to engage persons that NCDs are a problem in the Caribbean. There's this campaign that's coming up, and we wish people to be involved. But the three primary social media sites that are utilized within the Caribbean community are not dissimilar from globally, are Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Here's a screenshot of the Healthy Caribbean page. What we did is we went ahead and just made something very bright and stunning that was separate and distinct from our actual website. What I'd like to point out here are 3 key points. Top left-hand corner, we have a PAHO interview, which actually has in Dr. Hospitalis speaking about the importance of the United Nations high-level meeting so that persons can immediately get a sense, what is this campaign about? That's a visual. We then also had the text targets on the main page, and then once the codes were provided to us, we had the code for each country. The codes were not the same across the 17 countries. Different countries had different codes depending on what the system would allow. But it was 3 quick hit points for persons that were interested to see, okay, this is my code. And again, all of the text messages were free of cost. And what we found by pushing our website to persons during the soft launch phase of the campaign, and indeed throughout the entire campaign, is that there was a significant increase in the number of unique visitors to our website. As the orange arrow indicates, 7,000 unique visitors when the campaign started. In August, we had 11,000. And so the website, our Facebook, was branded across all of the media that we utilize, and it's reflected in many ways in this chart. As we move on and take a look at our Facebook presence, on the left you will see this is our opening page. Many of you that are familiar with Facebook will know that there's usually an opening page for persons to view, and it's where we talk a little bit about the summit, and we explain to persons why they should like the campaign. The other thing I wish to point out is that the SMS country codes were always displayed on the page. Keep in mind we're using the social media to support the text message campaign. So in the avatar, we made sure that those were always there so that no matter where persons went on our Facebook page, you would always see the codes. This campaign was a fun campaign in many respects for myself because it allowed me to be very creative in how we engaged in discussion with the community. And one of the questions that we asked of our fans, do you or someone you know have any of these chronic diseases? High blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, asthma, cancer. And you will see of the 79 responses that we received, 70 said yes. This was just a very simple way for us to engage our community and get them to think, this touches all of us. We all know someone that has a non-communicable disease. And this is tying into what the campaign is about to support that. We also did a question when the new packaging came out for cigarettes. What do you think of the new FDA packaging? So those are the types of ways that we also use our social media space to engage persons in dialogue. At first, when we started the page, it was text, text, text. We need you to text, text, text. And the audience pushed back and said, okay, enough of that. It's too much coming at us. And we realized that, okay, we can't just put a page out there that is, we need you to text, we need you to text. We need to have a significant educational component around NCDs to tie in with the actual campaign. Here's just a quick look at the ads. Starting this out, we had very limited experience dealing with social media and so on. And we started with our logo for our ad space, but we quickly realized that we were not receiving the level of response and persons visiting our page. And so we decided to tap into what is very unique to the Caribbean is that people in the Caribbean, we're very unified, but we're also very nationalistic and very proud of the countries that we are from. And so we decided to use country flags in connection with mentioning the campaign. So for example, for the Trinidad flag, the one in the middle, help in the fight against chronic diseases in Trinidad and Tobago, text yes for free to the Giselle code and so on. Do you know someone with cancer, diabetes, asthma? Text yes. So this is how we use ads to also show support for the Get the Message campaign. A bit of statistics. I'm not able to go into everything today, but this gives a bit of a snapshot for you. 54% of the total fans were female, 46% male. When we started this campaign in April, we had 40 Facebook fans. Today we have just over 20,000. A truly significant achievement as far as we're concerned. You will also see that the fans, the general demographic, greater than 60% of the fans are between the ages of 13 and 24. So quite youthful there as well. And what we've noticed throughout the course of the campaign is that once the fans come and like the page, they generally tend to stay there. So it's really a case that you have to get them in, and then they'll tend to be there. Now I'll just briefly discuss Twitter. We also had to establish a Twitter presence. We found that Twitter was a lot more for us to engage the international community, let you know how we're doing, and also to get content from you to share on our different pages. And so that was very useful. But here are just a few examples of where we had Lime and Digicel, our mobile partners, retweeting some of our messages. And again, this is using our Twitter page. Text yes for free to 1155 to support Caribbean leaders at the UN Summit on Chronic Diseases and to join the Healthy Revolution. So this is more so, Twitter is where we more so saw some level of buy-in from our mobile carriers as opposed to the Facebook space. In part, we believe because the Facebook space is where they're looking out for their own interests, promoting their own brands, but we thought that this space was where we receive more buy-in from our partners. Another slide that I just switched to, another one that I just read for you. The middle one, I'm the type of person that would like the fan page of the Get the Message campaign and support the fight against NCDs. Now remember, I mentioned that this campaign evolved. What we found that as the number of fans increased on our Facebook page, we said, these can be counted as messages of support for the Get the Message campaign as well. So in fact, the just over 20,000 fans that we have included as messages of support for the United Nations high-level meeting, and that is stated as a fact on the fan page itself. But yet, with all of that success that I mentioned, I think that this particular image does in many ways speak for itself and share its own story. This is from one of the mobile carriers, and this is one of their ads that was up on their Facebook page. A significantly distressing image, if I must say so myself, and it really speaks to some of the challenges that the community, the tobacco community in particular, have in the Caribbean as it relates to advertising and how it is seen in the Caribbean region. But yet, we must ask the question if we cannot use social media as a form of advocacy. And I think that Twitter may be an opportunity for us to advocate surrounding advertising and so on by corporations within our region. Briefly, I'll just mention YouTube. We took as much information as we could from as many sources as we could to get information out there, to keep our pages dynamic and fresh for our fans. On the left-hand side are some TV interviews that were done. We have the recent speech by Sir George Allen at the informal hearings. Top right-hand corner is a video done by the Commonwealth Secretariat, where we actually merged with them and created a video with them as well too. So we really took as many different sources of information to keep people engaged and excited over the course of the campaign. This side is just briefly showing that we also had campaign exposure on many different websites. On the left-hand side is the Dominica Diabetes Association, and on the right-hand side is a party website. Just a straight party website, nothing to do with health. But we were able to engage them and get them to agree to display stuff on NCDs to talk about the campaign on the site, completely free of cost. Linda had mentioned a textathon, and this is really one of the more significant and unique events that we did during the course of the campaign. It occurred over 2 days. We received 40,000 texts, 40,000 in 2 days. Across 10 radio stations. And it really was a very dynamic event where we were in discussion constantly with the radio stations, live interviews, and so on. And there's a quote that I recently read, and it's from Andrew Slatt, the executive director of the Harry Potter Alliance. In short, cultural acupuncture is finding where the psychological energy is in the culture and moving that energy towards creating a healthier world. I think that really embodies everything that we try to do on our Facebook and Twitter pages. To not just go there and say NCDs, NCDs, NCDs. We really try to get into the community and understand what was driving them, what was of interest to them, and to speak to them in a language that they could understand. An example of the acupuncture, one of the radio listeners from the textathon in Antigua heard about the campaign, messaged me in the radio chat room and said, how can I help? I want to do something. I said, well, the second textathon day is on Saturday. She said, okay, I'll do something. The young lady went and got together a group of young people from the Duke of Edinburgh Award Scheme in Antigua and invited all of them to text. And so that's really many of the types of unique experiences that happen throughout the campaign. Linda would have mentioned that we also went to very significant events. At the Rihanna concert, we actually had a video on NCDs played over 10 times. And it was the video of the Commonwealth Secretariat video that was recently released that many of you will be familiar with. And then it was supported by our text messages of support campaign. This Rihanna concert was in Barbados, very historic, 25,000 persons were in attendance. So it really, there are many stories like this, but I think these two capture the range of what happened in this campaign, but certainly a tremendous success for us. Okay, very quickly, social media lessons learned provides a medium for persons to actively become NCD advocates. It's cost-effective, immediate dissemination of a fluid, evolving campaign, can shape brand identity and reinforce educational content. What are some of the next steps? What do we hope for going forward for the Healthy Caribbean Coalition and the Get the Message campaign? We hope to develop the Healthy Caribbean website as a health portal for the Caribbean for NCD's research, TV, newspaper articles, health, wellness activities, and so on. Further, there's a very definite and strong need to train persons within health NGOs throughout the Caribbean. If go and do a quick Google search of health NGOs in the Caribbean, you will find that they have very weak internet presence, social media presence. And yet this is a very cost-effective and a very unique place where persons can deliver their message. So we really need to have some support in this area to get the person in Antigua involved in how to do their own social media site and so on. So we really hope for that as a necessary next step. Now, Linda would have spoken about this being a movement for advocacy and empowerment. And so this week, I actually put up a question, another question on our fan page. And the question reads, do you feel your text message for the Get the Message campaign can make a difference in the fight against chronic diseases in the Caribbean? And the response speaks for itself. Yes, I definitely hope so. A majority of the respondents said yes. So we're really just starting to break the surface of the potential for social media and for the use of mobile phones within the Caribbean region and getting people to feel that they can be empowered towards their own personal health. Very quickly, I would just speak to some of the ideas and what we dare to dream in the future. This slide and the arrow indicates social networking activity, what people do online. It's increasing. This is not going anywhere. Social media will continue to be around. In fact, it is becoming more integrated into our lives in all aspects, in terms of news, searches, and so on. This is a quote that motivated the team throughout the entire campaign. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. This is really what we hope, not just for the Healthy Caribbean Coalition, but for the NCD Alliance and the NCD community in general. To go together, we define that as looking forward to a rapid response communication channel for NCD viral projects. You know, if NCD Action Network does something fantastic, there needs to be a channel where that is distributed out rapidly to everyone so that we can all support it. NCD's global, regional, and local champions. We mentioned Justin Bieber and Usain Bolt, and I never thought I'd have both of them on the same slide, but somehow I achieved it. But there's a need for champions to speak to NCDs to also give us a little push and assistance there. We need to engage global visionaries that define cool. I think in trying to do social media, we in the NCD community are trying to define cool, but we really need to go to the cool people to define it for us and to really help us. And I think that is a direction that we really should go to really get our brand as to what is the NCD problems out there. And finally, a unified social media NCD's brand strategy. And as Jamaican Usain Bolt points to the world, we really need a brand strategy for the world. We have the HIV/AIDS ribbon. We have the Live Strong band. We have for NCDs. I believe that we need to have a brand for NCDs that is global, encompassing of all cultures, regions, ethnicities, economic background, and so on. I propose that we should look towards the use of mobile phone cases. Mobile phones are, as the cost of mobile phones go down, as smartphones go down, I think that we should work together with the NCD Alliance, all other global leaders, to develop something that is attractive, that is branded well, that can be used in a similar way to the bands and to the ribbons. Finally, this is the team. This is the local team that did the Get the Message campaign. I wish to say thank you to all of them. I wish to say a special thanks to Ms. Siobhan Johnson. This is a lady with the gray vest. Siobhan was the media coordinator who worked very closely with myself on the campaign. But this is really the core team here. I also wish to say a very special thanks to my father for allowing me to participate in this campaign. It was a very unique and challenging experience for us, one where I think we both grew, but it was really a wonderful time. So thank you to all for listening, and NCDs can be fun, should be fun, and let's continue to talk about it.